And like that,
we back.
We back. What's good? You know, this is Party at the Moon Tower. We're going to be smoking, session, playing some new music, unreleased music, talk about all that beautifulness, you know. I might just play some shit while Cam get on here. Smoke up. Hey, happy Wednesday. Hump day. What's up, David?
I forgive because I want forgiveness, you know?
Let me know if y'all can hear it.
I really believe people can change because
Let me know how it sound.
I changed
a lot. Building.
And it would be very, very egotistical of me to think no one else can. That makes sense. It's crazy when your downfall gives people life. They will find value in your demise. I'm valuable, nigga, that's no surprise. I don't close my eyes when I roll the dice. I see everything when the cobra strikes. Fake love is trash weed that's overpriced. Got a queen that's loving and she cold as ice. The truth cut deep and she holds a knife. The moon affect you different when you're the wave. The shrooms hit you different when you love the game. The acid hit you different when you see your grave. Now my heart and my soul on the same page. The biggest fight of my life was against myself. My worst enemy is myself. I gotta forgive others and forgive myself. Let go my ego, then help myself. I know people can change cause I have changed. I found a champion in all my pain. I put her to the beat, then my angel sang. Madam Mary Jane changed my mark of Cain. Stimulated my brain to see the change. Not numb anymore, yes, I can feel the rain. Me and Big Kelly out here losing weight. Moving out of pace like we out of space. Nowadays I'm out here just out on the road. In the health mode, my spirit really on swole. Checking the marks right next to my goals. Cutting through the noise, push a mute on his trolls. Not worried about control, just writing my scrolls. That love monster language, my Rosetta Stone.
You know, it's Party at the Moon Tower. Conversation, smoke, playing new music, unreleased music. I got my bro Gnarly coming up. Hey. Fucking cast one on the beat. I'm gonna play one more before I bring my bro up, man. This is some, what I got, man. I got some shit I doing with my bro Evolve.
I put up many numbers, grind for myself and plenty others. For many summers, now I'm putting motherfuckers through the table like the Deli Brothers. Self high five becomes a diamond cutter, and brick to your face might bring you supper. The hate in your heart's gonna take you under. See, I dance in the rain and enjoy the thunder. Now it's Hawaiian rum and turbulence, avocado toast and Jameson. We made it happen, we played to win. I recommend you make amends with heavy hearts can't defend. You can't heal with revenge. That repair is pretend. We the children of the cosmos, putting up the utmost, enjoying life up close. Her energy I follow, her ass deserves a bravo. Got us a victory, you've been sweet to me. Got us a victory, you've been sweet to me. When the love is absent, you become your own assassin. Self-sabotage is that vintage fashion. That's human nature, that's the classic. Gotta do work, they did the magic. See my demon dancing, then I took advantage. I changed my habits, then became a planet. Moving at love speed and I'm never crashing. My queen, she took my pain away. Love got me floating like an MJ fadeaway. Her vibes is a getaway. Even a work day, yeah, we a play. In a moment, break away, ganja in a matinee. Got us a victory, you been sweet to me.
Got us a victory.
Got us a victory, you been sweet to me.
Hold on. Before I bring young Gnarly man up, man, let me play some shit.
They taking notice how we navigate. They might get lost, they trying to find a hole in styles they'll never penetrate. See, I don't just portray, I live this way.
What up?
They penance, cause they just some tenants written temporary.
What
Yeah.
up? Big Yurt? What up, bro?
Hold on. Let me turn this up. What's up?
Fam.
What's good?
I'm chilling, man. I'm quarantining,
Quarantining.
Quarantining, doing quarantine things,
Hey, not feel it, bro. You know, like I say, what Erica Badu say on the healer? Reboot,
Yeah.
refresh.
Yeah.
You know.
She's been giving so much game in the last couple of days.
Oh man, it's crazy, man. All the games she given, she have given it.
Yeah. True.
Like,
What up,
yeah, man.
VL?
Young V out on that bitch.
My boy.
Nah, man, but yeah, it's been good, man. You know,
That unreleased shit you was playing is fire.
man, I'm having fun right now, bro.
Man, I gotta wait another month until I get the stuff I need to record at home, but I got some things. But it's 333 right now. That's what we on.
Nah, you know, to continue to push,
Mm-hmm.
doing good. Even like I know it's difficult in the quarantine to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
I feel like I've been making the best out of it
Yeah.
creatively in the quarantine, and people are still gravitating to music, so I'm blessed in that way. But I'm also planning and have things planned for, after this is all said and done, and we can go outside. I definitely gonna have things
You
for
have to
for
get it
for the
done.
people who've
Yeah.
been supporting.
Nah, it's kind of that's what it is right now. Like to not worry about so much when we're dropping right now. Cause of course we want to do a fucking lot. We want to do a
Yeah,
lot, but it's
yeah,
minimum. So it really just comes down to you really love the music and you really want to share it.
yep.
You know what
And
I
I
mean?
feel like that's the truth. That's the most funnest part because maybe sometimes I guess since you brought up Erica Badu, she said something when she was talking to Jill Scott about how you know because she's not performing as much, and I know you can relate to this too. Like because she's not performing as much, she feels like she's able to do more creations or be more creative in other ways outside of the stuff that she was creating on stage, or the creative energy she would put out on stage. And that resonated with me a lot too, because for me, when I perform, I like to make the song I'm performing sound like it's the first time I ever did it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of creative energy, a lot of creative focus. And to not be able to do that now, having to find different ways to, transmute that energy in different ways, I'm finding myself becoming more creative. I'm finding myself becoming more like knowledge hungry in a way. Like I
Yeah.
really want to learn a lot more things, and I've been investing, mental energy and money in general into things that I know that are going to be beneficial to that hunger, or to having to like find a way and a place to put that energy.
Nah, I definitely feel you. We can't have my grandma said we can't have the whole stove on and all four burners.
Yeah, right?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when, my bread and butter and everything is live shows.
Mm.
So when that's taken away, it's not like it takes fire away. Actually, that burner get turned off and another burner get turned on.
Yeah,
And you
or
really
the
don't
the
get,
fire in the other areas get strong. You know how you got that one burner on the stove that's
yeah,
for the simmer? It's for the
yeah,
simmer.
yeah.
That simmer shit, like that simmer one is hot right now
That's,
because
yeah.
the main burner is off. So you got to use the simmer, and that's how I feel right now. I'm just practicing patience and worrying about my health as well.
Yep.
Because I feel like if this time is teaching us anything, it's that we should be prioritizing our health because, and whatever that looks like for you, wherever you are on the health wise, but you should be doing your best to keep your immune system strong and stuff like that. So I've been putting a lot of energy towards that. And then just like we were saying, like, not being able to perform, even though that's where one of my main fires is, reminds me of like, okay, but you got, now we can turn the fire up on a lot of these songs and stuff like that and put a lot of energy into sharing the music because before I felt fulfilled performing the music. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was, I know that when I perform, the songs that I'm doing are truly connecting, and then they go home and then they listen to it and they live with it and stuff like that. But because I'm not able to give them that, really spoon feed it to them right when I'm in front of them kind of thing, it's up to me to create more creative ways, tangible ways to put the music out there. So I'm just focusing on other ways as far as like visuals and all kinds of stuff, like just so many different. I'm thinking,
that's all it is right now. Just figuring out how you want to engage. You know what I mean? Like that was one of my things. Like, yo, how do I want to engage with people? And I'm like, I'm pretty much with the music video countdown. I already do that. It's like I'm booking artists.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's the same formula, just different. That's all it is. Same fucking formula. So I get you, bro. It's been I don't know. I like the push, bro. I'm in this fucking quarantine 2K league with like Triz, Domo.
Oh, I've been seeing that.
Bro.
Audio King plays with y'all, right?
Yeah, bro.
He be telling me.
It's a different. Oh, you know O's one?
Yeah.
Big O's?
Yeah.
He's top 500 in the world, bro.
The top 500 in the world?
In the world, bro.
That's something else, bro.
That's something. And I see his Xbox Live page is cracking. So it's like, I dove in another world where I'm tapping in and it's networking. It's like, being in this. Is
it like walking in a room that you didn't know existed at first?
It's like, I don't know. With me, is this when it comes to gaming, it's always like, do I really want to get involved in that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I started gaming, it was a nasty racist underlining online.
All the time.
Like,
it still is there.
Nigger, all of this, bro.
I've been playing a bunch of niggas on Call of Duty and like, fucking nigger, like,
bruh,
crazy.
I kind of found my tribe now. I found my tribe of people. I'm finding stoner gamers, animators in different parts of everywhere. And they black, they Mexican. It's kind of like minorities and shit. So I found a tribe out right now. So it's kind of been tight now. Like someone's making a playlist for the league.
That's dope though.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, bro. It's diving in some shit.
I had that same I just got into I got some things in the works for like Twitch and stuff, and I've been talking to Rex Dizzy about it. And I had a homegirl of mine who got me into like gaming and stuff like that, and just the continuity of having your gamer tag be connected to your music, and it's like how it was 10 years ago when you were making music but you didn't have a Twitter or you don't have an Instagram, and it's like, how are you not sharing your music or your art or what have you in these spaces where this, it's like a whole nother world, a whole nother room that you're not in talking about your music, where people don't know about your music, where, and I feel like seeing that thing like what Travis Scott did with what was it called? With Fortnite and stuff like that. Yeah. Like just crossing your brand in that brand of interaction and that brand of social, whatever, gaming or otherwise.
You can't be scared. I think us, I come from internet shit. You started like right when like MySpace started.
So, yeah, my first fans, some of them are from like when I first started on MySpace.
So
that's a long time ago.
Starting when there's no internet, and now then this happened, and I'm like, yo, if this would have happened in 2001, a lot of careers would be dead right now.
Yeah.
I tell myself to be thankful for this this matrix sometimes. Like,
Yeah, well, we're blessed to know what it's like to be plugged in and unplugged.
yeah, man.
So it's both ways, and I feel like, you know, I feel like I've never been afraid of, like what you're saying. Like, I never was afraid of like getting into the gaming world, but I didn't have the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of like, bro, I'm performing all the time. I've already found my niche to create connections
Yeah,
with the fans or create new fans.
yeah,
But when you're in a space where going outside is taboo, yelling and spitting in people's face is not about to happen. So it's like, when you're in that kind of
for real.
space, you got to really try to reformat your approach. And how I've been reformatting is by educating myself in things that I didn't have the time to do before. And then that is now turning into, you know, investing in certain ways, be it, you know, in having certain equipment I can use, or, you know, redesigning my website all by myself, and these kind of things, like stuff that I didn't have the time or patience to do before is stuff that I can focus to now. Like, I'm about to have the Gnarly333.com coming, and merchandise and that kind of thing. And then, you know, once I have all these moving parts in order, I'm able to do more of both things, so that, you know, when all this shit is all said and done, not only will I have my foot in the space of, you know, the gaming world or the Twitch world, or, you know,
Yeah,
these platforms where I can, my people who listen to us can get to know us in a more personal way, like just listen to us talk. But outside of that, you also have the you know, the things that we're really really good at, which is, you know, performing, like, you
yeah.
know, creating connections in the real time. So I feel like this has just been a real educational time for me, and a patient time. Like, I've gotten back into, not just like in the sense like I'm just sitting at home thinking of ways to, like, you know, get back out there and that kind of shit.
Nah,
Like,
I told you.
I've been sitting at home just like meditating and building my routines and stuff like that. Like,
David said you're in a good space. I said he's not distracted.
yeah. David's right though. Shout out to the people who, like, I talk to all the time. I talk to
Yeah.
David
I said
all
you're
the
not
time.
distracted. I know you're not distracted right now. You know
No,
what I
I've been,
mean?
yeah,
Because
man.
when everything is going on, we got a lot of shit on our plate.
Hell
And,
yeah. And
you know,
honestly, right before this happened, we had a lot going on. Like, a lot. Like,
fucking Royster59 put this up. He said, listen, if I owe you something, a verse, a commercial, anything, he said, just listen. I am fucking distracted right now. Not like something bad. He said, it's a lot of shit right now. And I'm distracted, so I can't give you that potential you want. But I
yeah.
think because of this, we're able to, you know, I'm, like you said, reading up on what you need to make your website better. So now I understand my SSL, and get my foot header
Mm-hmm.
code. You know, getting all my codes going, understanding the footprints and shit. You know what I mean? So it is
Yeah.
this yeah, it is like this time right now really I don't know. It's, you know, you wish like, man, I wish time would just stop right now. Just stop. Time
Yeah.
have not stopped, but for people like us, it
Bro,
did in a
also,
sense.
yeah,
You know what
well,
I mean?
we're in a unique space because we're performers and artists. So there's some people who are taking to this in a bad way, and they're, you know, being out of their routine is fucking them up. And
Yeah,
to a certain extent, it fucked me up too. I really do miss performing, but I'm finding peace in myself in so many ways that I had honestly didn't even notice that I lost touch with. Like, I didn't even notice that I wasn't meditating as often as I am today, which is more of a daily practice. Before, it was more scarcity because I was prioritizing the grind more than I was my routines to give me the peace of mind to do the grind, and it became like a second nature kind of thing. But now I find myself just more at peace and able to think things through, and it also has me of a more of like this like, I'm not in no kind of rush, you know, because I also know that, you know, nothing that's
yeah.
happening
We're
externally can
only day
affect what's
peace.
mine, you know?
Yeah,
For
yeah. You
real.
found it. This is peace, man. Going
Yeah, man,
into this,
it
I was
does.
like,
Feels
man,
like
I'm not
Whew.
tripping.
I'm not tripping.
And I feel like I had a right to trip because I had tours coming. I had people dropping deposit for shows and shit. I could really be like, yo, but it was like, nah, this is happening. Whatever I was doing before this is still going to happen.
It is. If
This is just
anything,
another.
people are going to
This is
depend
the
on you
opportunity.
more. Like you already have the consistency already put down. So once shit is done, it's not like you're starting from scratch. Like you've already been consistent.
Yeah.
And because you're consistent, once people are able to go outside again, they're not gonna want to go to a, if I was some, like a civilian, like I wanna go to a space of events that, that perpetuates positivity and perpetuates like a safe space and creates a all inclusive space. Like those are kind of places that I want to go to. Because if you've been spending this time by yourself, like, yeah, I'm not even mad. Like, again, because nothing that's yours is going to be interrupted by this. Like, you should really stay sitting on your throne and understand, like, yo, you're
repeat that
fine.
So people understand that. Like, say it again.
Again, nothing that is yours can be affected by anything that's happening externally. Like, be patient or remain steadfast, even if you're afraid to release music or whatever. Do it confidently. Like, just still do it. Like, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing out here that's gonna fuck you up. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't take necessary precautions for your own personal health and well-being, but nothing out here is gonna affect you. Like, you just gotta be patient. Like, what's yours is yours. Ain't nobody about to interrupt that.
That's straight up. This
like,
is
for real.
Fishing. Now, this is all the fishing and shit right now, man. I'm gonna play a Gnarly record.
My favorite song. Can I pick the song you play?
Nah, man.
No, you're gonna play. Okay, for sure.
Nah, I'll let you pick one.
I was gonna say only because, in the interest of it, and this is how I feel, about time. I want to play "Time Is All We Have" because that song for me. I think about that. I think about the whole project. I feel like there were so many synchronicities that created this project 333 AZ or 333 Hertz, or and that song especially was one of the first songs that I made out of all of them, and probably why it rings the truest right now is because time is all you have, and the moment that you decide, and the moment that you understand that your time is your time, and no one can take that from you. Like when it's your time to shine, when it's your time to speak, when it's your time to be heard, it's your time. And the moment that you decide that and understand what that is, that's when you say, like, nigga, time is all we have. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. That's a decision you make. Like the moment you decide that's it. There's nothing from this moment on. That's what it is.
Cause time is the action. You know what I mean? You have to clock in. That's only when time is going to even recognize you. You got to fucking clock in. All right, I'm about to play right now. All right, let's go.
Hi, gang. And now you'll all be quiet. We'll start the show. I do this cartoon mostly here by myself.
Time is all we have. Can't waste a minute, can't go outside. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. Hey, time is all we have. Can't waste a minute, can't go outside. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. Seems like I almost lost myself and let go again. But I wanna go again. Hey, no. After coming from the dirt, I had to rise again. Must maneuver for myself and cut the middleman. I didn't like how I was coming, switch approach. I got the soul, got the sauce, and feel the whole cup. Baby, soul less niggas, sauce can't fill a sippy cup. Put the posse in the water supply and I pour it up. Time to crack another case. 101 can be replaced. In my prime, more to climb, more incline in my grace. That's just how it go. Learning to let go. Going with the flow, keep my ducks in a row. That's just how it go. Learning to let go. Going with the flow, keep my ducks in a row. Time is all we have. Can't waste a minute, can't go outside. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. Hey, time is all we have.
From this moment on, I'm in my bag. From this moment on, I'm in my bag.
Seems like I almost lost myself and let go again.
But I wanna go again.
Thinking back to my young days, juice box on the lunch tray.
Juice.
Hoping that I grow up to be big and tall one day. Was into astronomy. Ironic now, I just want space. Wish I could go
Wish I could
back,
go
but
back,
time
but
only
time only
flows
flows
one way.
one way.
Play on like a player, ain't no stopping, you can't hit rewind. Never had the front, just made some sounds that you could get behind. My mama always told me, you're my son, so don't forget to shine. My pops told me royalties in my blood, so go and
So
get
go
what's
and get
mine.
what's
I've been
mine.
making magic with this music, just like Dumbledore. Make my problems poof and disappear, don't wanna struggle more. I was hurting down before, then I climbed back up again. Kept them moving, nah, I ain't never
I
gonna
ain't
be
never
stuck
gonna be
again.
stuck
Ay,
again.
get
Hey.
a grip, holding on, kept my focus strong. Kept it loyal to the soil, I've been growing on. Ay, watch the snakes, I mow the lawn, get them going, gone. Ay, from this moment on, I keep on
Keep on
rolling on.
rolling on.
Time
Time
is
is
all
all
we
we
have.
have.
Can't waste a
Can't wait.
minute,
A
can't
minute
go
can't go as
outside. From
fast.
this
From this
moment on,
moment
I'm
on,
in
I'm
my
in my
bag. From
bag.
this
From this
moment on,
moment
I'm
on,
in
I'm
my
in my
bag.
bag.
Hey, time is all we have. Can't waste a minute, can't go outside. From this moment on, I'm in my bag. From this
From this
moment on,
moment
I'm in
on, I'm
my
in my
bag.
bag.
Hey, seems like I almost lost myself and let go again. But I won't
I
let
won't
go
let go
again.
again.
No.
No, no. Shout out Chris Beach on the keys.
Oh, Crazy, he was on the keys. That's
That song is, I just feel like I said, man, like some things wouldn't have to go. So, I'm not, I don't like to talk a lot. I like to just like let things speak for themselves. But I feel
yeah.
like I'm in a unique space where it's best to communicate and communicate what the values of the music is and what the true intentional nature of the music is. And for me, for the whole entire project, it's about healing. It's about healing. It's about making decisions for yourself to heal, be that in a self analytical way, be that in a starving external thing kind of way, be that going inward or working outward. But all those songs speak to that in various ways, and that song is why that one has been like something I've been attaching myself to a lot more, is because you have to, we're in a time where you feel like it's easy to feel like time is just passing you by, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of thing. But when you're in a space like this where time is literally all you got right now, you have nothing but time, you know what I'm saying? You can't go out, you can't do as many of the things that you would do, you have nothing but time. You got to make a decision to either be in your bag or not. Are you going to utilize the time that you're sitting at home, or are you not?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that doesn't even necessarily mean like any type of hard work or anything.
Yeah.
But if you're,
It's
that could just mean like sitting on your ass and resting. But if you're doing it in an intentional sense, a decision, like making a positive decision for yourself, like don't be wasteful of your time because it's all you got.
Nah, I feel you. Nah, I definitely feel you on that. Do something with your time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's essential workers, and their time is they have to rest. They have to get, you know what I mean, and hope their family help them rest with their
Yes.
time. You know what I mean? So it's like being considerate with your time too. Like it's a lot. It's a lot right now. So it's in the process of making this, like was it a like I was it a lot of healing you needed to do in this process?
Yeah. I mean, I've dropped projects back to back, but I've never dropped a project on my own back to
Yeah.
back. Like when I did, like I guess the earliest example I could give would be I dropped Positive Prevails in 2016, and then we did Gnarly Orca in 2017.
Yep.
That probably was the closest I've ever done to a back to back project. I usually take more time before I offer more music.
Hmm.
And when I released Nirvana, and I love Nirvana still, I still am, that's still a project that I am putting wheels on and still, perpetuating some of those lessons in the music. But after I dropped it, I went through so much that I made all these songs for 3338Z, and that's why so many of the songs are leaning more towards like a healing space, or like a even further in the authenticity that you may have heard on Nirvana in 333, because That's all I was doing. And a lot of those verses are really laced with little pieces and little spaces of when I was going through some shit and I had to put those things in the song.
Yeah.
Or rather, for me, when I'm going through things, I go to the studio a lot. Like I go to the studio when I'm not going through things too. Because when I was making Nirvana, I was conscious of the kind of music I was making, though I was not experiencing those things at that time.
Yeah.
But the stuff in 333HZ, the things that I was healing from, the stuff that I'm talking about, was exactly how I was feeling at that time. For example, when I on bigger things, you know, at the time, that hook, that don't stress, don't bitch, don't trip,
Yeah.
don't sip, because we focused on bigger things. That was that's something I'm saying to myself, like because at the time I'm stressing, I'm bitching, I'm tripping, you know, and like, and I'm not focusing on bigger things at that time. So that's why, you know, when I'm talking about that song and the opening of those that verses, like I'm viewing the bigger picture, I'm seeing beyond the frame. Like I'm on some act shit. Like I'm not playing, I'm not simping or worrying about the things that I was worrying about, or you know, or lacking in any way. And I feel like a lot of the songs speak to that space of just like a self-affirming, valid, like a self-validation kind of thing. And even on the songs where I sound that are, even on songs that have like a melancholy vibe to them or a sad vibe or something like that, it's all like restorative and shit, like
No, I feel you.
reignited.
I would assume, because, you know, we tend to reopen up wounds and shit and re-heal them in the process of making music, or
Mm-hmm.
heal, like, you know, I think that's, especially when we at Brooks, right? Like, say, we at NI recording, it's kind of like, that's like our process of music nowadays. It's not
Yeah.
like we would sit down and create this body. Like, you know, people would sit down and write this whole script out of an album sometimes, and you know, it do become this cohesive work or this story, but it's kind of like, you know, we give you our lifeline,
Yeah.
you know, a timeline of our life and what's going on in these times right now. It's kind of like your music's ultimate vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
I like to do it that way. Like, cause I've never been, I like to, I dwell in, and I'm really surrounded by synchronicities and stuff like that. So when the signs come, I pay attention to them. You
yeah,
can't force the signs to come. You know, you can't sit down and be like, oh, I want to write a project about seeing signs and expect to see signs all the time. You know, like it doesn't work that way. So for me, it was like about being,
it won't be as authentic. You know,
no, it
there's
won't. It
people,
won't.
yeah, people do write and be like, I'm gonna write about this, and you know, you can feel in their delivery and how they deliver it is not as authentic as it could be.
And I feel like that was my worry, or that can be a worry of mine sometimes, is am I leaving enough room for the muse? Am I leaving enough space for the universe to have its effect on me and then me give my expression on that? So I feel like I try to be really true to that. I try not to hold back certain things from the music, and I talk about my emotions, talk about how I'm feeling, or I try to find really abstract ways to write it into the music.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
that it is
Phantom,
like
man.
a,
Phantom's great at that.
and I feel like I learned so much from Phantom as well, in the way that he does that, because he's such a great abstract writer. Where I'll listen to his music and I'm like, yo, because I know him, like the way you know me, you can hear this shit and be like, oh, I know what he's talking
I
about.
know what he's talking
I
about.
know
Yeah,
exactly what he's talking about, and that's what's good about it, is that I'm conveying something that is true and honest, whether you know me or you don't know me, and I can listen to your music and I can know that what you're saying is honest because it's in your vocal tone, or rather, even you know, as far as continuity goes, the 333 hertz is in the music. It's
yeah.
literally like cued to that type of frequency. So like I can listen to your music or Phantom's music, and I can know that it's authentic for what you've experienced, and the way that you're expressing it is like a true, honest way. You're not you know, you're not trying to hide anything, or not like be honest to who you are. And I feel like that's a unique space to be in, because I know a lot of our fellow artist friends who are trapped in a persona, or trapped in a, you know,
Yeah.
in a way of being, or a way of being perceived, rather than, you know, just being who they honestly are. And I feel like something that you can speak to too is
That
just
what that
growing.
post was about, bro. I was asking people like, "Yo, are you willing to be misunderstood,
Yeah.
hated? Like, do you understand?" And a lot of people said yes. I people say, yes, I've been that my whole life, but I don't think they really understand willing.
Yeah.
Because you've been that your whole life, that means you wasn't willing.
Yeah.
You're not willing. So it's like, now, are you willing? Because some people, when they get being misunderstood and hated, they do become bitter. They do become, bruh, like I seen it. They would become jealous over dumb shit. They will act out over dumb shit because they wasn't ready to be misunderstood, where they think everyone will understand them. But we know that everyone will not understand us. Everyone not gonna understand Phantom. I think Figgy in there, the homie Figgy, baby. No one ain't gonna understand him. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he's a very unique artist. You know what I mean? This is a dude he would have the nails painted, got his hair in pigtails, and barred the fuck out. You know what I mean? And cats like that, from his steez, he's ready for that. You know what I mean? From your steez, we're ready for that. You know, I just wanted to ask people that, because I see people who they think they're ready because they get it from their family and shit. I'm like, nah, bro, this is a whole different. This is a whole different. This is heavy. You know.
I mean, there's a lot of people don't understand how powerful authenticity or vulnerability really is, and a lot of that has to do with, you know, I feel like there's no way I can explain it in a rap terminology, because it's like, yes, I'm a rapper, and yes, we're artists, but a lot of the work that it takes to be able to communicate the things that we communicate in music or whatever your medium is a lot of self-care, real hard work, hard lessons, hard talks you have to have with yourself or your partner. In your case, you know, like you work so closely with your partner, like a lot of that has nothing to do with you walking and going into the studio. All that stuff is a private moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you said, having the courage to be yourself. Like, that all comes from having the courage and taking the time to work on yourself, because you can understand and speak that language of vulnerability, and speak the language of the outsider, and speak the language of, you know, oh, I am weird, that kind of thing. But, you know, how weird are you? Or rather, how deeply have you explored your uniqueness to know and be your best, truest, fullest, weird, unique self? Because some people got it, you know, some people never had to succumb to being the outsider, you know, and maybe they find themselves really aligning with what the group is doing and that kind of stuff. So once it's, you know, I feel for a lot of people, probably, you know, we keep relating to quarantine, but, you know, people in quarantine who are doing what the group is doing probably don't know how to be with themselves right now. And they haven't done the same amount of just that one-on-one work with yourself that has us in a space to be able to communicate the shit that we do on music or in music or just in life, in our life path in general. So I feel like I'm not even a good rapper. Like, I'm a good rapper. I can rap on top, but it's the care and the work that I put into myself as a person that makes me real, or makes me, you know, honest or true or whatever.
That would make Pac great. That would make Pac great. Pac wasn't the ultimate lyrical flow pattern. Pac was real, straight to it, life. Like, that's why people felt his shit. He didn't have to be LL. He didn't have to be Cannabis. He didn't have to be these other cats. He could just be himself. And I used to have that argument with people like, yo, he just, truth is lyrical. Like, vulnerability is lyrical. That's, what are you talking about? It don't have to be these double entendres, and it can just be real life. You know what I mean? Like that it can be real fucking life. And I'm blessed to have brothers like you and people in our circle who understand that. You know what I mean? Where we don't get caught up in like image. You know, we keep an image of, you know, hair clean, clothes clean, that image, but not just, you know, voila. When I step out the house, I'm Cam Gnarly.
That's some weird shit, bro. And honestly, I get weirded out when people approach me, assuming I have that kind of
my 10th outing.
Persona type shit. What is that? What's that sound?
Hold on, that was my speaker.
I was about to say, what the hell was that? I thought that was my phone tripping. But I get weirded out when I meet people who are fans of the music and they greet me with how they perceive me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that perception of me may be more grandiose than I may be feeling at that moment. So, you know, that's just one of those, like, don't pick it up, don't put it down type things, like, thank you type shit.
Yeah.
Like my boy, like, thank you, Black DeMarco, who said my project was my best so far. Like, you know, there was a time in my life where I was not good at receiving compliments and shit. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't like that shit because I didn't want to be perceived, you know? Because when
Yeah.
you get caught up in the perceptions of others, you may find yourself trying to live up to or appease this life, you know, this outward exceptional space that people are giving you. But it's like you got to create that shit for yourself off top, so that hopefully the person you think you are is the same person that you're putting out to the world. And I feel like I'm really confident in the fact that who I am when I walk in the house and I'm back in the Grant residence and
Yeah.
I'm Cameron Grant and I'm just
Yeah.
relaxing and chilling
Yeah.
is not too far off from the person who puts on the headphones and goes into the studio and makes these
Yeah.
songs and gets on stage. Like, that's the same nigga. It's just about me utilizing certain, you know, certain things about myself or certain understandings or agreements or things that
Nah,
I've surrendered.
that feels good, bro. That to
Yeah.
me, that was the greatest feeling in my career, where it's the same fucking person.
Yep.
Like, it's the same sense. And even like, I have people I've been known for 10 years. They like, man, even people from high school, like, man, you've been the same since high school, dog. Like,
Yep.
you just elevated it. And I feel like I just became more vulnerable and I understood more shit, you know what I mean? Being
Oh
around
yeah.
more people, being around people, start liking people, investing time in people. I don't know. I didn't want to change. Like Raven said she didn't want to lose her grind, that dirt. And I told her, like, yeah, you know, it was a time where I was very grimy, a loving, grimy motherfucker.
Oh
And my
yeah.
attention, sometimes my attention was not good at all. Then I recognized my wrong, and I said, man, I want to be who I really am all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
smile. I want to love.
Exactly. I can totally
Being
relate, bro. I was in
being
a space where,
6'2", being black, you know, being from Hostile Takeover, you know.
bro, do you understand like what it was? I can relate so much because I came, I was a part of a thing, and then it went to being like the head of a collective of people who didn't all have the same like outward mentality I did. I was a smiling, positive, happy person, but I was surrounding myself at the time. Now, granted, those are still my bros and shit, but there was a time where the perception of me was far from who I actually am, and people thought I was some person that was gonna have somebody beat their ass or fucking, you know, like, you know, or like a very like a dark type space or some shit.
They used to break my heart, bro.
And that
Like,
shit would bother me because I'm like, bro, I'm not even the situations that I would find myself in was never like something that someone said to me or I said something to them. It was always a perception. It was always he did this and because of the outward perception, I feel like he was doing this instead. And you know, I felt like I had to really get a grasp on, you know, like I had to really take a look at be like, okay, how am I benefiting to this weird shit that's happening? So it was like, you know, so I had to be like, okay, let me understand my role in it, even though, you know, that wasn't me. I had to pay attention to how I was playing into this misperception of me, and it made me become, you know, more knowledgeable of myself and or intentional in my purpose of like, okay, like that's not me. That may be a part of me, but that is not me in its entirety. So I need to show more of myself and more of my honest, true self so that I can show that this is about duality more than it's just about darkness. And for me, that's how you go from my last project before that being like, you know, the Crilly fam and the GoPro days
yeah,
and that space. And to go from that space, if you even remember like the original cover for GoPro was a black and white image of
I
me,
know,
like a
remember?
dark face, right?
Yeah,
And then the following project, the Crilly Fan project, another black and white dark project. And then from there, after that GoPro album, and I took the space in between 2014 and 2016 of releasing, I went and decided to be more light. I wanted to perpetuate more light. And I feel like now I'm going back. I continue to go into that cycle of light and dark and light and dark to show the lesson and the example of duality and change. Because like, bro, I was really in the streets
No,
doing this,
no, I know.
shit. You already
Listen,
know. And then
yo,
I
what's
went
up,
into a
yo?
positive space, and we did the positive, and while we did the positive, now we're in
Listen,
a
our
all-encompassing
sensei is
space.
Ramon Jones, man. Listen.
Yeah, man. Ramon Jones, the same guy who will gift all his homies cologne for Christmas. Won't tell you how he got the cologne.
Yeah.
And that same thing is like, yo, like the people that I admired at that back in that time were the people who may have had a negative perception surrounding them, but if you got close enough to them, you realize that these are stand-up guys.
He's a
And
stand up. And I feel I tell people like, man, who your OG? And I'm like, Dirty Birdie, Ramon
yeah,
Jones. They like Ramon. I'm like, bro, Ramon taught us the ropes. Like he showed us dark and light, and
yeah,
we chose at certain times what side we was gonna be on, or what is self-serving at that time too.
mm-hmm.
Like
I,
it's
I definitely feel like now I feel like me personally, and I feel like 333 AZ talks about that, and I feel like Nirvana was like the ending of something, and 333 is like more like the beginning of something, because or like the beginning of Nirvana for me was like a reintroduction to people who may not have heard my music, who didn't listen to Positive Prevails or weren't around for when Cabbage was out and all that kind of stuff, and I was able to reintroduce my values while also encompassing both sides of who I was or the things that I've experienced up until that point. Like you're saying about things, certain parts of your energy being self-serving.
yeah,
And for me, 333 is that aspect of all encompassing that I talk about the light and the dark, but more about the healing aspect too, because
yeah.
people can't appreciate. And I love what I never heard that song. Or I probably did maybe when I was when you were recording that at Cass's. But I love what you're saying at the beginning of that song. I just caught it when I hopped in on the live, when you
Oh,
were saying like, I never have been like selfish enough or something like that to you're talking about how you grow and change, and you like
yeah. You
to
know what
see
it
people
was?
grow and change.
I was like, everybody can change because I
Yeah.
change, right?
Mhm.
And it would be very egotistical
Yeah.
of me to think that only I can change.
Yes.
Even my mama, no accountability of nothing. My mama had all her kids are crack babies. Who some did time, did all of that, and she act like it didn't do nothing to us. She
Yeah.
act like she did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? And I have to bite my tongue because I know I'm her trigger, and
Yeah.
it's shit like that where I have to know that she can change, but it's hard. But I still bite my tongue and try to give her word of encouragement and healing because I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm good where I'm at with her.
Yeah.
It really no and uh, uh, like revenge or animosity towards her. You know what I mean?
And for me, I can relate to that in my own life because I've definitely changed, and I've been the bad person causing the problems and being the problem, and I had to understand what that problems were and change from those things. But as
Yeah.
well, having examples in my family, my father's the youngest of 10 kids, and I had more cousins than homies. By the time I was 10 years old, I didn't need no outside friends, and at that time, having so many different examples of what family look like, what a man look like, a woman look like, and to see these people where in the outside world we call these people, terrible, deplorable people for the things that they've done and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for me, I've seen these, I still love these people. So, having an understanding of what it looks like to love someone who maybe have done something wrong and stuff like that and love them through it while also holding them accountable. Like that was my example. And I feel like you also lead in love more than
Yeah.
anything.
Have
Like
to,
you
bro.
you realize that you got more out of loving your mother than arguing with her trying to prove your point or get your point across. You found that the more love you gave her, the more she was susceptible to listening to you when you were telling her about herself. And I feel like I found that same kind of thing with my pops. My pops used to clash, because, you know, the times where these kind of conversations
Yeah.
that I'm having with you, he wasn't receptive to, and he looked at it as like analytical bullshit, and he didn't want to hear that shit. Like talking like this, he'll call you a
No
bitch.
problem.
Like
Yeah.
he'll be like, "Man, you a bitch." Like just, and I'm telling him about my, you know, I'm talking about my feelings and shit. Niggas like, "Man, you a bitch." Dude. Like, so, you know, having to go into a space where, you know, I had to lead with love and kindness rather than being abrasive, and understanding that though I'm valid in my anger toward this person, that's not going to help fix or stop them from perpetuating the same bullshit that they put on me or others surrounding them. So, you know, I feel like, you know, that kind of thing is necessary. And we just live in a time where, like, you know, I know that I'm doing my part. I know it may be kind of stupid to feel like you can save the world kind of thing. I don't feel like I can save the world, but I do feel like I can definitely impact people around me that I care about, or people who may listen to my music or understand the kind of message or energy that I'm putting out through my music, or just knowing me in general. Like, I can make a positive impact more than I'm out here feeling like my every action has to be an action that's gonna save or change the world. Like, one thing I just know is that as long as I'm honest and true,
You
like
good.
that shit gonna be
Your
felt,
intentions
and
is
it don't
right. You
matter.
good.
And I can
You
be
know.
any kind of way I want to be for the
Yeah.
moment, in that moment. Like, I don't have to be some, you know, quote unquote idea that most people have of me, and that I'm just like this abundantly just positive person all the time, and I'm just
Nah, fuck out of here.
meditating surrounded by crystals and sage, and like, it's not that I'm not that I am not, but don't feel like that's just me all the time, bro, because you may be disappointed, and I don't want to I don't want
Want
to
to
be
disappoint the
disassociated. Yeah, I
expect
don't want to
nothing from.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just don't want to disassociate myself from all aspects of myself. Like, I don't want to just put on some airs, like what Nipsey said. Like, I had this like ultimate knowledge and shit like that. Like, I didn't grow to this space or get to this
Yeah.
space. Like, you know, I still may participate in certain things that quote unquote aren't healthy or da da da. But it's about the practice, not so much about, you know, like, just like, are you this? Are you just
No, no,
this? Are
I
you
feel
just
you,
that?
bro. I probably disappoint a lot of people every fucking day where they think I can do something for them, and I'm like, nah, I don't know that. Or people like, no, how you get on the playlist? I say, I don't know, email them.
Yeah,
And like, hey, no, how you do this? This is what I do. They said, that's all you do? I said, shit, this is what I do. And it's kind of like, you know, I'm like y'all. It's the same. It's don't expect nothing from me. You know what I mean?
one thing I
Like,
really like.
or who I am, or what you think I
Hmm.
can do. Like, nah, don't. It's not even like that, my G.
It's not. It's not.
Talk to me. You
You
can
can talk to
find
me.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, some
I mean, some
people like
people are
Kelly
real
Stacks. I'm gonna
clear
say
in what they trying to
Kelly
get
Stacks.
out of you.
Yeah, Kelly Stacks to me, like he when you hear his music, you be like, man, this motherfucker ratchet as fuck, and
Yeah.
you expect ratchetness, you know what I mean, from him, but he's a very intelligent, in tune individual. And
Hmm.
me talking to him and me building with him and seeing that, you know, I can look at the music like, man, he rap, but me knowing him is me becoming a friend with him because I didn't expect this, you know, this idea of him at all. Cause I could
Yeah.
be like, oh man, he ratchet as fuck. I ain't trying to be around that
He just
energy.
understand. He just understands ratchetness. That don't mean
That's
that is
it.
him.
Yeah, that's
Like, just
it.
because I have a grasp on something and I can articulate it, talk
Express it.
about it,
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't even mean that I am quote unquote supporting it. Like, doesn't mean I just understand it. I can just understand it. And that
yeah.
same thing with like Callie Sachs or anybody. Like, you know, I can just understand where you're coming from and the world that you're living in. I have had a conversation with artists who have approached me about the same things, about like, Cam, how do you do these things? Or I like the movement that you're making. Can you help me get shows or things like that? And their you know, their make of music may be completely different from mine. They talking about completely different stuff,
Yeah,
but they understand that I understand them, or rather that they feel empowered
yeah,
from my music. And that makes me super happy too, is because I'm able to connect with people that may not necessarily even be in my world, my realm
yeah,
of
bro. In a
music,
whole
but
different
they're
world.
listening to me. Like the nigga who is trapping in his song, talking about, you know, stuck in the Wayfield, trapped in it, and I'm fucking these bitches, da, 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 all these that stuff. It's hitting me up talking about, hey, bro, your music is really inspiring me, da, da, da. But it's inspiring them to be themselves, you know, be honest about who
Bruh.
you are.
Hey, yo, I told someone, I said, listen, you can't change. I remember having an argument with someone where they think someone who does conscious music should be in a better position than someone who made ratchet music. Because the person that making this music isn't themselves. I said, see, that's an assumption that is fucked up. Like, I think, like, Joe Moses and them and RJ, that's them. That's them. That's, you can hear the conviction in their music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's them, you know. So who's saying that's a persona? I'm like, nah, some of them glasses, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him all the way. So I love that where we're from the IE is everyone, not even just allowed, it just everyone can be themselves and we can mesh. We can have bills that's very high in vibes and some shit. Then at the vibe, we put the stripper pole up on the third set is up and the stripper poles are up. You know what I mean? And we just had a Christian rapper go first.
Yeah. But it's
Straight up
about,
has-
like, yeah, what Giselle saying, dualities. It's about
Yeah,
the
man,
ability to
that's
be
just-
both things.
I love that shit, man. I that's one thing I love about our scene. I remember we had a show where we had a Christian rapper went first, then Speak dressed up as Jesus went second.
I remember that. I remember
Bro,
seeing pictures of that.
I was like, yeah, this is the community I love. This is some shit, man. I'm about
Yeah,
to
bro.
play another record, man.
You can
We're gonna
pick
play
this
one
time.
more. What
Pick.
you want? What you want to get? What you want played?
Play, since we're in the nature of duality, we just talked about, we talked about time and self-actualization. Let's play something on the little other side of that, So let's play Too Much. Play Too Much.
Too much?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hey. Turn the speaker on.
Shout out my boy Audio King, produced it.
Audio King in the building.
We got some more shit in the vault too.
Yeah, hey. Yeah. Can't hold me down if you can't hold me up. Doing too much, but it wasn't enough. Showing your weakness, so bitch, I'm too tough. Pass on the pass like I'm passing the blunt. Like I'm passing the blunt. Pass on the pass like I'm passing the blunt.
For real.
I'm passing the blunt. Pass on the whole like I'm we started on the low, kept it classified. I ran in pros and cons and qualified. We made a good team, we was unified. You had the qualities I want to quantify. Hey, I was with the shit, but our shit started shifting. We would get close, but I still felt distance. Had to cut ties, no coexistence. All the love is blind, nigga, I don't see shit. I heard the words, but they held no meaning. I'm a complaint, I just need a friend. Easy love and temporary, homie to the end. Not too tight, be light, don't linger. You could go, baby girl, you could come. Gotta run. Hey, focus on fun. I need my fun. Can't hold me down if you can't hold me up. Doing too much, but it wasn't enough. Showing your weakness, little bitch, I'm too tough. Pass on the like I'm passing the blunt. Like I'm passing the blunt. Pass on the pass like I'm passing the blunt. Passing the blunt. Pass on the whole like I'm passing the. I'm riding solo, no passenger. I'm rolling low key. I'm looking for tenderoni, yeah. Been leveling up on my lonely, yeah. Don't jump through no hoops, dog, and come show. Keep it real, don't do phony, no. Go with the floor, you gotta go. Say, go with the floor, it's audio. Can't hold me down if you can't hold me up. Doing too much, but it wasn't enough. Showing your weakness, no bitch, I'm too tough. Passing the hole like I'm passing the blood. Like I'm passing the blunt. Pass on the pass like I'm passing the blunt.
We only got 44 seconds.
I just want to chill and twist the line.
We only got 44 seconds left,
44
man.
seconds.
Promote yourself, bro.
Hey, 44 seconds left. 333AZ out right now. Go search that shit up on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. Support. Buy the music on Bandcamp. It's $33.30. Cop that. Website coming up really soon. Merch coming up real soon. Videos on the way. CamGnarly.com. You're going to see it. It ain't up yet, but you're going to find it when it's ready. Tell your mama I miss her. Peace.
Peace.